find any of those links there. But he has some websites that you can reach him on, which is www.peddal.com, peddal.com, and then also patentmarketingllc.com, and you can see a bunch of his inventions there. Very interesting. And once again, I'll have all of that on my radio page. So now let's get back to our interview with Kels Wilson. So yes. What else do you have up your sleeve? Keep them coming. I'm interested.
Well, I actually have several inventions that I've patented, and my plan was to license or sell some of those other inventions to get myself seed money to get Peddal up and running.
And what are those?
Well, they range from exercise equipment, woodworking tools, and some computer security.
Okay, so if people are interested in those patents, do you have a website where people can look at what you have?
Yes, it's Patent Marketing LLC.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll add that to the radio page.
Okay.
LLC.com?
Let me check whether it's .com or .org. Sorry for the delay.
No problem. Well, and maybe you'll get somebody to license what you have going on with the blockchaining as well. And I like the idea that it has more security than what Bitcoin is using because, like I said, somebody's going to crack that system and eventually, right? And if the Chinese crack the system, now they have access to to Bitcoin. But if they can switch out the security part of Bitcoin to something that's just completely secure, not that Bitcoin isn't, it's pretty secure, but even a whole nother layer with the same concepts, then it's golden.
Yes. So it is patentmarketingllc.com.
Okay. That sounds great. Well, I will create a radio page with that information on it. And I'll also have information to how people can, your website, peddal.com, right?
Peddal.com, yes.
And right now, are you selling anything? Like, can people add their document? What do you do now? Are people able to use it now?
Well, we do not have our e-commerce website up and running. So currently what I need is for people to download the record generator, generate their records on their own computers, and then send me the document records. I never see the documents, and I don't want to see anybody's documents. Your documents can stay perfectly private on your own computer system. And then we would put it into an edition, and then you would have a copy of that edition, and then the edition's fingerprint is published in the USA Today newspaper in the classified ad section.
So that it has a public profile that way as well.
Exactly right. And once that is published, then anybody that challenges you for backdating documents has a very difficult problem on their hand, because in order for you to have forged the document, you would have had to crack the SHA-1 and SHA-512 simultaneously, which is virtually impossible. And
you have to do that you have to do it simultaneously for it to work. So
correct.
Basically, it's not like you can do it serial. You have to do it at the same time, which is not happening. Right. Oh, that's great. I understand that.
Same document has to provide both a collision in SHA-1 and a collision in SHA-512 at the same time.
Do you have that patented? That concept?
That's in the patent, yes.
Excellent.
And then what happens is the other attack for forgery is that you have basically forged every single copy of the USA Today that's in all the library basements, on the microfiche all around the world. So
you have to forge everyone. It's not happening.
That's right.
Interesting. So how much would it cost for, let's say, a big company law firm wants to put their documents in here? How much do they pay for an official contract to be docked there?
Well, we haven't finished our pricing model yet. I was hoping to sell a subscription based service in which large companies could submit in the range of hundreds or thousands of records per month for a very modest fee in the low $100 range, or individual IP creators, part-time users, people who only had like one or two documents that they want to throw into the system could do it for, $100 per document.
That sounds like a wonderful price range. I mean, I can't see why anybody wouldn't do it. If it's for hundreds of thousands of documents, they can do it for what you said. That seems very inexpensive. Now, what kind of, how many people are you going to need to manage a system like that? Or is it pretty low intensity? Well,
it's not a very difficult system to manage. I can run a pretty decent capacity with most of the industries that I'm expecting with a crew of under 20.
Okay. So how much money do you need to get your business off the ground, do you think?
Oh, I would need maybe $300,000 to $400,000, I'm thinking, to get the capacity that I would need. However, my plan is to try growing it incrementally.
Because you want to maintain ownership?
I want to maintain ownership of the compilation portion.
So who can?
However,
go ahead.
There's a couple aspects to it. One would be the collection. So, for example, if there was one blockchain stream that was working within the banking industry, okay, somebody could control the members and the rate and collect all of the record entries from that industry and basically police them for only people that, paid in could make submissions. And then they would provide that to me as a wrapped up bundle. The same in the legal industry. I don't need to be doing all of the collections, but I'd like to take over the primary publication of the ads in the newspaper and the centralized publication of the ultimate blockchain editions.
So you want to maintain the integrity of the system and making sure all that stuff happens. But that would be a pretty low cost that you would be charging, right? Where they could do the service on top of it.
Correct. I would not be controlling who, myself, who submitted, who doesn't submit, how many. I would just be taking whatever comes in, and I could see industry experts running their own blockchain within their industry that just fed into the primary pedal system, but they would have whatever policies fit their industry that they were aware of, being experts in that industry. I don't need to have any control over that.
Okay. But there's still a ton of money you can make doing that. I mean, is your goal to make money?
Yeah. Well, eventually, yes. I mean,
you know what I mean? Or is it just a fun byproduct? It's a very nice byproduct of being an inventor, obviously. But, a lot of people who are really focused on inventions and creating things, they want to make money because who doesn't want to? But is your focus on making a difference in the world, or is your focus on both? I mean, I guess it could be both.
Well, I believe in making money while helping people. When I went to law school, I saw all sorts of people that would say, "Oh, I'm in law school to help people." And I'd say, "No, you're in law school to help your wallet." And
although sometimes lawyers aren't making as much money these days, unless you really, right? There's so many of them.
That's true. There's a glut, and I noticed that a lot of law firms are having trouble with placing their graduates.
Not in patent law, but in other, you could make a heck of a lot of money just in patent law doing that, let alone all your inventions.
Well, that was the plan, actually. I endured law school. It was a nighttime program, a hour-and-a-half commute each way when there was no bad weather or traffic accidents or road construction. And
what law school?
I went to Capital University in Columbus, Ohio. I was living in Dayton at the time.
Okay. I teetered with the idea of going to law school, and everybody talked me out of it, telling me that I would hate it because I'm so. They just told me I'd hate it, but I had a bad experience with bad experiences get you thinking about law school because you're like, darn it, I'm never going to get hosed over that way again, and I couldn't learn fast enough, right? But
yeah, well,
go ahead.
I had some teachers who taught on subjects that were interesting to me and were enthusiastic about it.
Makes all the difference.
One of the professors who's since passed away, Mike Distelhorst, taught a lot of my economic law classes, and I loved having classes with him. However, by and large, law school was much like having an appointment for root canal.
Exactly. It would be awful. To me, I equate it to when I was younger and my sister was in swimming and they made me go to swimming and I had to swim laps every morning. I'm like, it's like a root canal. I hate this. So for those swimmers out there, I'm not disparaging swimming. I just am not a swimmer. So I felt like I was just, same thing. I have an engineering degree and there was some classes I just felt like I could pull my hair out.
Oh, okay. Which engineering discipline?
I have a computer science from the University of Minnesota Engineering School.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'm interested in all these things that you're doing. I still think, I think there's a backdoor way to make a lot of things happen, but with your secure system, I understand that. And I think that's fantastic. I think China's going to crack. I think they're going to eventually crack the Bitcoin security. And I think your system can solve that problem. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I hope so. Their system, Bitcoin, is distributed. It's got automated distribution. I have a centralized distribution. I'm going to send you an article, the draft that I wrote, and that I mentioned. And what it'll do is, after you read it, you will understand very clearly the similarities and differences between Petal and Bitcoin. Okay.
And do you think that the distribution system is a big difference in? Do you think it's superior as well?
It is superior in some ways, but not always. It's not as agile or fast. However, I think that the totally decentralized currency blockchains are going to suffer from bloat and lack of quality control.
Well, because each time you put a system in place, you have to have complete redundancy of what all came before it, right? And so as it grows, it becomes that much more expensive to have the infrastructure for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I had Ed Moy, who was the past director of the U.S. Mint, and he was just and he's really into Bitcoin. And he came on and explained what Bitcoin was and blockchaining and everything else. And I think he would find this is really interesting. I think there's a lot of people that find what you're doing is really interesting. I don't know if it would replace some of the stuff, but it could enhance it, especially since whoever's behind it is a supposedly anonymous and they don't care about the credit for it or what it is. They just want it to work. I could imagine that, for the downfalls, they should talk to you, and for, obviously keep what's better, superior, and change what isn't. And if they have bloating issues, then maybe there's some solutions.
Well, yes, but I'm thinking that the current debate that's raging within the blockchain community now is symptomatic of what can happen later on. Now, my understanding is Ethereum is somewhat technically superior to blockchain, but again, if you don't have a centralized control for quality control, now.
But isn't that the reason they sell that? Because they don't want anybody to centrally control money. They don't like the whole notion of that.
Right. So that is true for the Bitcoin community. So what happens is with Bitcoin, you have decentralized distribution of the blockchain.